My check, my check, my check, my check. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Guys, my name is Craig, the Rock, the People Streamer, the Great One, the most electrifying man in all of streaming and entertainment. All right? Guys, I want to introduce my guest to you, the one and only Matt King in the building. Matt, welcome to the channel. Welcome, welcome.
Thanks for
Um,
having me.
do me a favor, Matt. Mute the stream because we can hear it through it.
Yeah, I got you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. Mando, welcome. Chad, welcome. Austin, welcome. Dragon, welcome back. Ivan, welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. Today's main topic, we're going to be talking about single moms versus single dads when it comes to dating. We're going to get there for the second half of our show. But right now, as I said, I'm going to introduce you to our guest. Matt is going to tell us a little bit about him. Take over, Matt.
Yeah, so Matt King, single dad, 38 years old, live outside the Indianapolis, Indiana area. Two daughters. Oldest one's 8, and the youngest one is going to be 7 tomorrow. So I'm getting prepped for a birthday.
Dude, that is
Yeah,
awesome. I love
yeah,
how like the closeness. They're like 1 year apart, so they can like really grow
yeah.
up around each
Pretty
other.
close. Yeah, about as close to twins as I would want them to be. Yeah,
That is awesome. I just got mine. I have a 2 month year old, and man, it's incredible.
yeah,
It's truly incredible.
yeah.
Okay, okay,
A lot of life lessons in there with kids. It's exciting.
yeah. Quick question. As a girl dad, right? What is it like raising girls, and like, what do you feel like you wanna teach them?
Man, that's a good question. I think you want to teach them a sense of responsibility. You want to teach them to be good humans and pitch into society and not just be somebody who takes and contribute.
Mm,
And you want to teach them to be safe and just have a head on their shoulders,
okay.
especially being girls. I don't have sons, but I imagine there'd be a little bit different approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's and I think it changes as you go. When they're younger, it's just a different ball game, and as they get older, you just kind of you change your perspective
Yeah.
and what you really want to focus on teaching them.
Okay. Understandable. Like, I get it, man. Like, as you know, like most guys, they want like a son, to teach them all the things that you know. But now
Yeah,
it's a whole different ball game because I have a daughter. In my head, I'm like, ah, crap. Do I teach her the opposite? Do I teach her to stay
yeah,
away from men?
yeah,
To like, what do I teach her about dating? Right? Because like you've been through your own experience, and now like as a dad, like they're watching you. They're like, oh, how
yeah,
does daddy treat mommy? Right? And like, how
yeah.
does daddy treat other women? So how does he even treat me? So like, you know what I mean? Like when it comes to dating, like what's like, give me like what's the biggest thing, as you said, because you shared a lot of things. What's the biggest number one thing you want to teach your kids, your girls?
Um, Man, again, I think it's just being a good human being and being firm but fair.
I
Don't
like
don't be
that.
naive about things,
Hmm.
but give people a chance. There are a lot of good people in this world, but the opposite is also true. There are people out there that would bring harm upon you and not necessarily be as nice. So.
Okay, okay. Are you gonna do any like self defense class with them? Just be like, listen, just in case if you need to kick somebody's ass.
Yeah,
Like,
man, it's funny you say that because for last Christmas I bought kickboxing pads for them. Yeah, so that way,
okay.
not necessarily that they need to be the best at self-defense, but
Yeah,
in a situation where I'm not there, they're at least comfortable kicking someone, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Yeah, that's what makes me nervous. You know what I'm saying? It's just like if I'm not there, what can you do? Can you take care of
Right.
yourself, right? So
Yeah.
I feel you. I feel you. Okay, okay, I'll dig it. I dig it. All right. So real quick, tell us, give us like what are the biggest 3 tips you would give just in dating in general? What would it be?
Uh, Man, I would say maybe number one is, be cautiously optimistic when you're starting to date someone. For guys, obviously, we're used to being the pursuers. Um, and I think that's normal. There's nothing wrong with that. But at some point, you do also want to feel like the person you're pursuing is pursuing you as well,
Mm-hmm.
and that they have an interest in you. And I think they need to show that to you. And if they don't, then you might want to question maybe
How
why
would they show it to you?
just by, if they should be texting you back first. Don't always be the first one that's texting.
Mm-hmm.
They should be calling. They should be pursuing you and acting like they're interested. If it's just you pursuing them, then you might just be feeding into a need for attention for them,
That's
while
kind
they're
of like
keeping
where
their
I was
options.
staring to validation, to put
Yeah,
simple, right? Like,
yeah,
there's different types of validation. Like, women get validation from, like, when you give them physical compliments. Like, hey, you look really beautiful today. Did you do your hair? That looks fantastic. Look at your nails. Look at your claws. It looks amazing. For men, specifically, like, let's just say we're chasing you. We went on a date with you. What's a good validation? Like, I personally like, after the date, hey, I had a pretty good time today. Thank you so much for taking me out. Because
right,
then I'm like, oh crap, she did enjoy herself, right?
yeah,
So in
yeah.
some sense, validation where it could be verbal, right, or kissing at the end of the day. That's a pretty clear physical validation, right? So
Yeah.
validation, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I think if you're not getting that back, then yeah, they might be just using you for attention or free dinners or drinks, and that needs to kind of get your attention a little bit, and you need to
mhm,
start questioning things.
okay. What would be number two?
I would say love language in my experience. Understanding someone's love language and
Yes.
how they receive love is a big deal, and it's not necessarily something that I learned until the past couple years in the relationship that I actually just recently had.
Okay.
If your partner, if you're both physical touch, well, it's super easy because you don't even have to try at it. But if one is physical touch and the other one's words of affirmation, I think it's easy for us to give love in our language because
Mm-hmm.
that's just easy for us. It's what makes sense. But if it's somebody, if it's a different love language, then you have to be much more intent with it,
Yes.
intentional with it, and it sometimes it takes practice. It's like making a new habit almost, and you have to be very purposeful in it, and show them that it means something
Mm-hmm.
to you, and that they mean something to you. And then once that habit is developed, it won't really feel like work anymore, and it'll just click, and you guys will be good.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that. And all that you just said sounds like affirmations in a way. I don't want to say
Yep.
words, but it's more like actions of affirmations because you putting in effort is showing me that you care, right? It's showing
Right.
me
Right.
validation as well. Like, yo, you really care about my love language. You're really listening to me, right? And
Yep.
you're putting in,
Yep.
you're giving me the proper feedback that I like, right? So I like that. That was very, very
You
good.
got it.
Okay.
You got
And
it.
what would be the last one?
Um, I think in my experience, another pretty critical one is paying attention to how somebody approaches an argument or a disagreement. Do they
Ooh,
do
okay,
they
I
just
like this.
deflect and push it back on you and make it seem like you're being unreasonable, or do they really sit there and try to hear what you're saying and understand it,
Hmm.
and validate how you're feeling and give you a safe place to actually communicate and say everything that you feel.
Okay,
I think that's a really good mark for a healthy person.
good point. All right, so let me. I'll share a little bit about myself. Right, I've done a lot of changes growing up. One, read that book, The Five Love Languages. It's such a necessity, such a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Two, I learn what I'm like when I'm angry. I'm an avoidant personality. I like to walk away, right? If I feel
Yeah.
like my point is not being heard, or if we're just talking in circles, I'm out, right?
Hmm.
That's not
Right.
necessarily the good thing, right?
No, it's
But
not.
to me, it's just like, you know what? I'm gonna walk away because I don't want to say something that I'm gonna regret. Because
Sure.
like uh, wherever my head is going, I'm just like I'm gonna start cursing, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to like start disrespecting you, so I'm just gonna walk away, right? So
Right.
that right there, that tells you a lot about the person, the relationship, right? And I used to have a rule. Um, the rule was we can never be in a relationship. We can never be boyfriend and girlfriend until we have our first fight. Because then I don't know how you are. I don't know if you're gonna run away the
Right.
moment we have a first
Yeah,
fight.
that's when you learn the other person, right?
That rule got me in
Yeah.
a lot of trouble. But what do you think about that rule?
I think it's smart. You know that's living and learning, man. You know you're taking your own tips and applying it and moving forward. That's smart.
Okay. So all these things that you've learned, the tips that you've shared, have you personally, did somebody teach you this, or did you just like learn them as time went on?
I think that's just an experience thing. You know, I mean, if you're self-aware enough to go out and try to learn and read books on your own and try to be, healed from whatever you have in the past on your own, that's great. That
Hmm.
self-awareness I think is rare. But relationships are good for bringing out the issues, and if you have a partner that's willing to talk about it with you, and you're both willing and mature enough to just hash it out and get through it and talk about the details and give each other space to grow, then that's a healthy environment, and that's kind
Okay.
of what it takes. Sometimes you just have to live through tough times to be able to enjoy the easy times and enjoy the great times. It's part of it. That's life.
Which one do you think you learned more from? Did you learn more from relationship or more from dating?
Relationships.
Okay. Were you in,
Yeah.
like growing up, do you find yourself in more relationships than you do dating?
Yeah, I typically do. I'm not the type of person that likes to date two or three different women at the same time. It's just one, it's exhausting.
It is. It is. It's a lot of
I'm
work
a
to make
busy
one
person.
happy. So imagine two or three. It's work.
Yeah,
It's work.
yeah, it is work, and for us, for guys, if you are a chivalrous guy, you're gonna pay for dates. It gets expensive.
It
There's a financial
is.
aspect to it. And outside of that, I'm busy with work and trying to build a side business and all that. So one is enough. We'll stick with one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you always this way, or like, yo, in my early 20s I was this way. Now I'm a little older, a little bit more seasoned. I changed my game plan up.
For some reason, I've always been that way. Yeah.
Okay.
I never really had interest in chasing multiple women. I just didn't. I always preferred to put all my energy and effort into one.
I like that, bro. I like that.
Yeah.
That's rare nowadays, man.
It is. Yeah, I think it
That's
is.
so rare, especially with like online dating and like, the more options you have, the more likely you are to talk to multiple people. So that's,
Yeah.
ladies, you hearing this? I hope y'all like hearing this. This is rare. Okay. What's your situation right now? Are you dating right now, or are you like in a relationship?
No, I am not dating. I am single. Just recently ended a relationship. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Um, what's like your craziest dating story so far? Like craziest date you ever been on?
Um, Man, craziest date I've been on
Or the worst?
probably.
I want to say worst, but I'm trying to well, I probably shouldn't sugarcoat it. What's the worst one?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, probably just a woman that just drank way too much. It was just
Ooh.
innocent, having fun. At a Top Golf, it was friendly, and then it just tanked hard.
Wait,
She
isn't Top
had
Golf a
way
little
too much.
expensive?
It can be, but it's reasonable.
Okay.
It's a decent place. I
Like
like
with
going
the
there. But
drinks and all
anyway,
that stuff. Because drinks are like what, $15, and then
yeah, yeah. We racked it up. There was a nice bill, but
okay,
like I said, very much fun until a certain point, and it just tanked hard and just really made a fool of herself, and
it's
ended
not
up,
attractive.
just not attractive. Just and ended up throwing up and vomiting, and it was just
Oh, wait. Did she throw up in the car?
yeah. What's
Did
that?
she throw up in the car?
No, she threw up at the facility at the
In
Top
the
Golf.
bathroom or like in public?
Yeah, out in where everyone could see it. Yeah,
No.
yeah.
No.
You
How
know,
did you feel though?
I felt very bad, and I do have a heart, so I helped her as much as I could and
Hmm.
cleaned up and helped the staff, and felt had a sense of responsibility to it, I guess, at the point, but
Cause you can't
didn't
ditch
didn't.
her. It can't be that guy that's like, I'm sure a
Yeah,
lot of guys would be like, dude, I would have been gone already, right? I would have been gone because
yeah,
let's be honest. Let's be honest. Roles reversed, right? The guy shows up, not shows up. The guy gets belligerent, drunk, starts throwing up in public. How many women do you know that are staying around being woman? Because you say you were being a gentleman. It's the right thing to do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So how many women do you know that are staying around, helping you clean up and making sure everything is okay?
I don't think the odds are good on that one.
But yet, roles are reversed, and
Right.
you did it. Okay. What
Yeah.
was her
Yeah.
response afterwards?
So she ended up, I offered her, I let her stay at my place. She was way too drunk to drive, obviously, again, trying to help her out. And basically in the morning, it was just like, yeah, that happened.
She was
You know,
apologizing profusely, like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry."
yeah. And I was just like, I was trying to be understanding and everything. And,
Yeah.
it was just like, okay, we'll just kind of go our ways. Maybe we'll talk later. Maybe we won't. We never did.
Did she ever reach out to you after that?
She did a few times, yeah, but
As
I
in,
never
like, trying to get
proceeded.
a second date, or just like still apologizing?
I think, yeah, just to see if it was still an option to date, which it wasn't, unfortunately. But
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I dig that. I dig that. All right. What was the best one you've been on so far that you remember?
Um, Man, the best one I've been on, I guess it was really just more of like a casual kind of like day at the park, almost not really camping, but man, we just had like a cooler filled of ice and beer. We sat on my truck gate, and it was nice. It was like a summer afternoon. It was real pleasant weather. Sun was going down. Really, just almost kind of like just two friends, just kind of hanging out, super casual.
Mm-hmm.
And it really was just really heartfelt and genuine,
The
and
conversation,
just,
right?
yeah, the conversation super easy. No pressure.
Okay.
And that's good for a first date. Maybe the first dates should be super casual, and
You
really
should.
shouldn't put too much into it. Maybe do that later down the line, but the first date, yeah, maybe just
What's like your
be and
typical first dates? Like, I never done Top Golf
typical,
before, so I've heard about it, but I've never done it before. So, like, what's
typical first dates.
yeah?
I try to change it up.
Okay.
I don't try to do the same thing over and over and over again. And I try not to really put too much thought in it. I just kind of whatever a couple of days before, whatever I happen to think of, I just kind of go with it and wing it. And if I end up going on a date with someone who doesn't enjoy whatever we end up doing, then
Are you
maybe
usually
that's
want
not my
to
vibe.
plan the place, or just be like, hey, what do you think about this? Or she's just like, oh, let's do my thing.
Typically it's going to be my idea. I usually throw it out there first. I value input. If they don't want to go do something that I'm throwing out there, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
We don't have to go do what I want to do.
Okay.
You know?
Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah.
But it's a first date, so it should be casual. So what is
Yeah.
it? Is it more drinks? Is it more drinks with an activity? Or
I
is it
think
like
drinks
dinner?
and activity. Yeah, I think drinks probably help a little bit. Let's be honest.
It does.
Yeah,
It can screw it up too, as you clearly know.
it
So
can.
yeah.
It can. But yeah, drinks. And just do something casual. It could be dinner. I mean, I don't think movies are really great for first dates. They don't
No,
really give
you
you an
can't talk.
opportunity to chat much. But it could be something like a Top Golf, or something stupid like putt putt. I mean, whatever. Just
That's
just as
fun.
long as
It
you can
breaks the
find
ice.
fun in it. Yeah, just find some fun and enjoy it. Have some conversation, and just find out if you guys click.
I agree. I agree. I always think this: the number one goal for any first date is just to have fun. Like,
Right.
can we have fun? Can we talk to each
Right.
other? Do we actually enjoy being around each other? Right.
Right.
So I think you set the place, little drinks, because maybe that will help you loosen up a little bit, and then an activity where it's just like, oh my god, we're not drilling each other with questions. This is not an
Yeah.
interview. Like, you're playing putt putt, you're playing top golf. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like to do billiards, right? So we get billiards, we get drinks. We can be super cheesy with it, or if you already know how to play shit, I'm not gonna touch you. You know what I'm saying? Like, do your
Right.
thing, kick some ass. But we're talking and we're playing, so I think that helps a lot. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna go in a few subtopics right now.
Okay.
Okay, so what is it like dating as a single dad?
Man, it can be tough. Um, it's there's it takes a certain type of person to want to date a single dad. It's kind of it's a package deal. Depending, it doesn't really matter how many kids there are. You're gonna have to interact with them. Over time, you're gonna have to meet them
When you
and
say it doesn't
develop.
matter, you mean like they don't ask you how many kids, or it's just that it doesn't
Uh,
matter?
It,
What do you
yeah,
think?
I don't think that one, two, or three really matters. Just you have to find you have to have an understanding that there are other factors. It's a package deal. You may
Mm-hmm.
have to interact with the other parent, the co-parent. Um, and some people have better co-parent situations than others. Some of them aren't even on speaking terms and they don't like each other.
Yeah.
And some of them, like myself and my ex, we do great. There's no poking, there's no name calling or anything. We co-parent great, and it's a good environment. So, but it's just that's it. You got to understand that it's not always about you. Like there's other people involved and there's
Mm-hmm.
other hearts and feelings.
Okay, I'm gonna throw out the hard questions here now. So, straight off the bat, how fast do you tell him that you're a dad?
Right away, immediately. Don't you? That's not something you need to hide from somebody.
Agreed. Agreed. And we're
Yeah.
talking about online or in person. Like if you're at a bar, you're having a drink by yourself, you see someone across the room, you go up and talk to them. That's in person. Online, it's like okay, I made a dating profile. I'm at putting it on the dating profile. Like yo, this is me. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like how fast?
I think it should be as well known as I am a male. I am a man.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something you should hide. If somebody has an issue with that, that's don't pursue it. You're wasting your time.
Agreed. Agreed. How many do you find? Do you feel like you get rejected more? As in, like, okay, you remember single you? It was quite a few years ago. I mean, when I mean single you, it was
Yeah.
you remember when you didn't have a kid and you were dating, right? And then now I have a kid and I'm dating. Do you feel like is a rejection more, or do people actually are attracted to me more?
Um, Man, again, that's tough for me because I feel like, and I don't know why this is,
Okay,
in my 30s as a divorced single dad, I somehow end up doing better in the dating world than I ever
crazy.
did. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense, but that's the reality of it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna come back to that. We're gonna talk a lot about that. David, welcome back, David. You can see what David wrote on the screen, correct? Okay. David says he met Jessica online from Pennsylvania in 2004 and actually met her in person. Was with her for 4 days only, and she had a bad hospital layover for testing for diabetes. So I was not happy to return to New York, and that was my last mutual date I had. Okay. Is it more of a statement, David, or is it just more like a question? Or is it because we're just talking about the last date? Was that like a? It doesn't sound like a. I don't know if that sounds like a good one. What are you getting from the last one? What David said, Matt.
I'm not sure that I really understood the question, actually.
Uh, David, was that more of a question or was it more of a statement? Like I get that you met her in 2004. She was in Pennsylvania. You was with her for 4 days. She had a hospital layover. I'm not sure. Hospital layover? As in like she was on her way to see you and then she had to stop by the hospital? I'm not sure. David, do you mind rephrasing that, please? Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man. All right. So going back, you said you feel like you're getting a lot more attention now than when you
Yeah.
were single. Is it because? And again, I'm gonna go with this. You're taken because you haven't heard about the when you're in a relationship, more girls want you than when you're single. Like, oh my god, you have a
Hmm.
girl? Wow. And then they're just all over you. Like, damn it, where were you when I was single? Where was all his attention? Right. So, what do
Yeah.
you feel? Do you feel like is it because it shows that he can keep somebody in his life? Because now you're a daughter, so like, oh, you can keep something. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, my guess would be that it shows that I have a sense of responsibility and I'm to other
Ooh.
people, and I'm not just entirely about myself. I can tend to others' needs, and obviously being a girl dad, they soften me up quite a bit. It's not like being a boy dad, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my best guess, but I haven't really directly
Responsibility.
asked
Interesting.
any woman why that might be, but that's yeah, I think that's what we're on to.
Interesting. Man, oh man.
Something about it's appealing, man. I don't know. It's night and day, but I'll take it.
Yeah, it's just crazy how like guys and girls think so differently when it comes to dating. Like I don't know, me personally, I'm just like I like responsibility, but when it comes to certain things, I don't want too much. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
but now that I have it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm responsible for my daughter now, but I can see why. Wow, people are more attracted to you because of that.
yeah.
That's crazy. That's that's crazy. Um, what's the okay? David was just a statement as to the weirdest date you had. Oh, okay. So let me reread this one more time. Under the context, the weirdest date. I once met Jessica online from Pennsylvania in 2004 and actually met her in person, which is pretty good. Was with her for 4 days. So, being with her for 4 days, you've had time to hang out, and I'm guessing
Right.
you did you went to her place? Cause 4 days, it sounds like you're with her the whole time.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
more than a
Somebody went
date then.
somewhere.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. Um, she had a hospital layover for testing for diabetes. I was not happy to return. So you were having a good time. You just didn't want to come back. You didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
And that was your last mutual date you had. Okay. Her layover had come up, and I was there for 4 days. Oh, okay. Wow. All right. It doesn't sound that bad. What do you think?
No. I mean, it sounds like there was, they met up and circumstances happened.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I'm picking up whether it was legit circumstances or it was an excuse.
Because when it's
And
medical, you can't fight against a medical reason.
right, yeah, you have to kind of take them on their word with that. But then again, that's a pretty good excuse to get away from somebody you just met that maybe you don't like. I don't know.
Ah, damn.
Am I onto
Yeah,
something?
yeah. And again, it goes back to communication, right? It goes back to,
Yeah.
hey, am I going to be around the bush, or am I just going to
Yep.
tell you straight up?
Yeah. Because it's not an easy thing to look somebody in the face and just be like, "Yeah, I don't. This isn't clicking. I don't like you." Sometimes it is easier to make up an excuse. Yeah.
Ah, man. And especially if you travel to go meet that person, right? I'm not
Yeah.
sure if David, did you travel from one state to another to go meet Jessica? Cause that's a lot more pressure in a way. Like somebody goes from one state just to see me. I
Yeah.
mean, I would have to sit through the whole dinner for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just gonna like 5 minutes and then I'm out. It's kind of messed
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. There's a commitment. There's a time commitment there.
You ever heard about the lemon law?
No.
So I'm gonna send you the video about it a little bit later. But it's from How I Met Your Mother. Basically, it's something I think the dating world needs just to be a little bit more communicated and straightforward. That within the first 5 to 10 minutes of a date, if one of you guys are not feeling it, you can just simply say lemon law, right? And usually there's two reasons. One is either no physical attraction or there's no chemistry, right? And then it's saying the lemon law is this: you don't want to commit to a full night, right? And especially if you're going
Hmm.
on a dinner date, come on, you're not gonna leave dinner until you get your food. Maybe you have apps. Drinks is
Yeah.
different. Drinks, okay, after one drink you can just be out. But the lemon law is just like but you have to you have to share the lemon law with each other before the date. You can do it the night
But that's the key.
before. Yes, you
That's the
can't
key.
just come out of the blue with something saying the lemon law and then just use it on them. No, the both of you can either use it on each other. What do you think
Yeah.
about that?
I think that makes sense. Yeah, but you absolutely have to communicate that to the other party first, so that
Would
you're
you
on the
be
same
butthurt
page.
about it though?
No, I don't. I'm type of person. I've got a pretty thick skin. I think if I was going into something and that was very clearly communicated up front,
Mm-hmm.
no, I think I can respect somebody on that.
Okay. Okay. I've done this on most of my dates, and 60% of the girls respect it, the 40% hate it because they're like, it
Okay.
takes more than 10 minutes to get to know someone, and I'm like,
Right.
true, but does it take you more than 10 minutes to know if you want to physically be with that person?
Hmm.
Like, I understand chemistry and all that stuff, but the, the, a lot of dates they're like, oh my god, I had so much fun. you're great, but I'm not physically attracted to you. So I'm sorry.
Right.
We should just be
And
friends.
yeah, and that's okay. That's okay.
Great, but why don't you just tell me that right out the bat?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I'm like $200 deep. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
hey, sweet, welcome back, welcome back. David said it was certainly no excuse. Yes, I love. Oh, you drove from Long Island out to Pennsylvania to meet her. It took 8 hours. Damn,
Okay.
that's commitment, bro.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that you throw it out there, you risk it. You drove 8 hours for a date. A lot of people won't do that. I like that. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's above and beyond. I think. I mean, that shows very good interest in somebody and that they're taking it serious. And it's or like hopping a plane, buying a plane ticket, to fly halfway across the country.
Okay.
It's very much the same thing. I think you kind of need to give that person your undivided attention and
Agreed.
take them serious.
Agreed.
At that point.
Sweet. What do you think, Sweet? Is that romantic or is it creepy? Because perspective is everything, right? Like,
Yeah.
some girls might think it's great. Yes, Sweet. 8 hours for a date, romantic or not? And David, we're not bashing or anything like that. We're getting perspectives. That's the whole point. Because I think it's cool. David, have you ever? What's the longest you've driven out just for a date? Sorry. Oh my God, Matt, what's the longest you drove? I said David. I mean Matt.
Yeah.
What's the longest you've driven out for a date?
Longest I've driven?
Mm-hmm.
Probably about an hour.
Okay. Would you drive any further?
I think I would. Yeah.
Okay.
If I was really interested in.
What's your radius? Your dating app radius?
I don't know, 3 or 4 hours.
No,
I don't know.
I mean miles. My bad. Miles.
But miles?
Yeah. Because when in these dating apps, it shows you like where do you want to search, right? Do you want to search for?
Yeah, I usually do it within 60 miles because that's about roughly an hour's worth of time
60?
to drive.
Jeez.
60 miles. Yeah.
And you say Indiana, right?
Yeah.
Is it like, are you from like a small community where everybody knows each other? So you're like, okay, if you already date everybody in this community.
The town I live in, yeah, kind of small, but it's right outside Indianapolis. So I'm right outside the metropolitan area. So I mean, there's tons of people around here. It's a big small city. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
It's not like Chicago, but it's not like LA or anything like that.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit of people, but I don't know. That's just my personal preference. I think it's easy to drive an hour to go meet somebody. More than that, we should be FaceTiming or doing something to really make sure there's interest there first.
Agreed. David, did you do any FaceTiming before you met her in person? Sweet says maybe. Definitely not for 8 hours for a new date. Okay. So, well, I'm guessing, like, there has to be some rapport. There has to be some credibility. Like, definitely a FaceTime at least, right?
Yeah.
Just to like make sure the person's real, exactly who they are. And not only the cool thing about FaceTime days is that if there's chemistry.
Right.
Because if we're talking FaceTime and there's no chemistry, I'm not coming all the way to go see you.
Yeah, then that's something that it's great for. You can get FaceTime with someone without having to drive an hour to go meet them and figure out if you click.
Do you do any FaceTime dates before you go on an actual first date?
I've done a few. Yeah, I've done a few. I think, the ones that I did the FaceTime dates with, I never ended up going to meet them. So
really?
Kind of worked for me, I didn't have to waste my time.
Yes. Yeah. Really? Okay.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Is it like a requirement for you now? I have to do.
No, it's not a requirement. Honestly, I'm a little bit older. I'm old-fashioned in a sense where I actually enjoy sitting with someone and talking to them face to face.
But listen to what you just told me though. You said the FaceTime dates that I've done, it saves me a lot of time and money, right?
Right.
So I'm sure you would have a good time with these people. I don't know, but again, if it's going to save you time and money, isn't that a factor before you actually decide to go on the first date?
Yeah, I think maybe for me, I'll be honest, it depends on my actual interest level. Like if she's super attractive and I'm really,
Our
really
hotness
interested,
level as well.
I
Come
think maybe I'd rather do it in person.
on. Okay.
Yeah,
I feel
if
you.
I'm honest.
So basically, the ones that you're not so sure about. You know what? I'm feeling iffy about this. Like, come on, let's be straight up. Like,
Yeah,
if you're like banging, oh, I'm definitely finding a way to go on this date with you, right?
yeah, yeah,
Because we'll find out. We'll find. I'll see all the red flags in person. But if she's okay, you're like, all right, FaceTime
yeah,
date.
yeah. I think that's fair. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Elijah coming in with the 20 super chat. Elijah, thank you so much, man, for the 20 super chat. I appreciate it, man. Do you have any questions? Anything you want to ask me, Matt, or Sweet? Sweet, yes. The dating scene is rough nowadays. Dating is not easy. Dating is not easy at all. Like,
No.
okay, you have a lot of experience now, Matt, right? At any
Yeah.
point, do you remember it being easy?
Not post divorce. No, not since I've been 35 or older. I feel like when I was younger, it was easier, honestly. And I'll go ahead and,
In
and,
what
and be
way?
the old guy here. Like Instagram, DMs, Snapchat. When I was in high school, it wasn't a thing. Just wasn't. And I think a lot of these apps they actually make it harder. They make it easier for people to not be honest and be kind of shady. So
Oh,
it's just different. It's
that's
just
true.
different.
That's true. That's true. Sweet. What's the biggest thing you don't like about dating? And I'm gonna ask the chat. David, this goes for you. This chat, this goes for you. What's the number one thing you do not like about dating? Oh, you remember Yahoo Messenger?
Yeah.
Remember like being in those like chat groups and all that stuff? I
Yeah. Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
that. Holy shit. Yeah. Okay. Okay. That was online dating before these apps.
Yeah, it was the beta version. Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. There we go. Man, I feel so old now that I remember that.
Yeah.
David, good point. Good point. Yahoo Messenger and chatting online. Okay. I feel you, my brother. Very, very good point. Um, yes, the dating scene is definitely rough. What about you? What's the number one thing you don't like about dating?
Yeah, I guess at this point in dating, I would say for me, it's just kind of knowing that, that stuff is out there. The Snapchats and these phones that we have, they're great, but it makes it very easy for people to kind of misrepresent themselves and I guess just having trust in someone. I've at this point in dating, trust for me is something that's earned, it's not given right up front. And that's just
Okay.
because of the way the dating scene is. When I was younger, I probably was a little naive and just gave people trust until they burnt it. But I'm kind of the opposite now. You have to earn it.
Okay. Okay. I'll take that. Crystal, welcome back, Crystal. Good to see you. Crystal, we're on a subtopic right now. One of the questions that we're asking right now is what's the number one thing you dislike about dating? Um, Sweet says she hasn't dated in a long time, but waiting on them to actually say how they feel.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you take this one, Matt.
Yeah. Men are not historically the greatest with communicating their feelings. It's just the way it is. Some of
Is
us are
that
better at it.
biological or is this just speaking individually, speaking for yourself? What do you mean?
I think I would be willing to say most men, maybe 70, 80% of men. That's just kind of the way we've been conditioned. That's been the way we've been raised. We run on testosterone mostly, not estrogen. We're just not that naturally in touch with our emotions and our feelings. We can be if we really try to understand it.
Okay. What
And
happens when
we're
you do actually share how you feel? What's the response usually like?
um, I think it's good, honestly. Whenever I've tried to do it, I don't always necessarily find the right words and communicate it the best. But I don't think there's any woman out there that's going to fault a guy for trying to communicate his feelings.
Okay.
I think most of them want it, if anything.
Sweet. When you say you're waiting on them to say how they feel, what do you mean specifically? Do you mean like how do they feel about you? As in like, hey, I like you. hey, I'm into you? Is that what you mean? Or just say how you feel in general? Because that can go either way. Because we were just talking about validation, right? We were just talking about, like, hey, show me that you're interested. Text me back, respond to me, be the first one to talk to me in the morning. Don't let me be the one that's always chasing, right? Because
Right.
to us, that's how the other person shows how you feel. So sweet. What do you mean? Okay, sweet. I want you on the show. We this is sweet. Have I told you we need different perspectives, right? You said women either. I'm a lesbian. Trust me, women struggle with it too. All right, so you know what's crazy, right? We think that women communicate better with their feelings, right? Because they're more emotional. But she's just saying it right there. Shit, I'm lesbian too, and shit, we struggle with it too, right? So,
Yeah.
like, think about it. If y'all are struggling, what are we doing? Like, are we surviving? Are we barely
Yeah.
surviving? Sweet, we need you. We need you. If you want to jump on the Zoom, let me know. I'll just send you the link and all that stuff. Um, what do you think about what David said? The fact that I spend their partners to be butt kissing. Ooh. Okay, the fact that it seems that nowadays a lot of women expect their partners to be butt kissing up to them, meeting their every expectations and beyond. Just a mutual trust and communication aspect. Okay. I'm gonna address the butt kissing part, right?
Okay.
Do you mean the chase? When you say butt kissing, because me chasing after somebody could be considered butt chasing. Me, like, saying, hey, I'm interested in you, I'm pursuing you, I want to take you on a date, I'm texting you, I'm following up. After taking a date, again, I'm following up. So, hey, you look beautiful. Hey, would you like something to drink? All of that could be called butt chasing. So, when you say, not butt chasing, butt kissing. So, when you say butt kissing, what do you mean, David? What did you get from that? What David said, Matt?
Um, Man, I mean, I think he's kind of got a point. I think a lot of women have this position that they want the guy to kind of kiss their butt and act like they are the world to him, and they're the only person that exists. And it's not necessarily fair, but it's a thing. I've noticed it, definitely. It's one of those things where if that's what's going on, and again, if it's not being the respect is not being communicated back, and you're the only one pursuing them, and you're constantly kissing their butt, but they're not kissing yours back, well, it doesn't seem like that's right.
Okay, I agree. It is work. It's the chasing aspect. Again, it's fun to a certain point. Like, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
chase you forever. I'm
Yeah.
not. And just as what you just said, in today's world with the apps and all that stuff, fact of the matter is this: we all have a little bit more options. And if you keep chasing someone to a certain point and you're not getting what you want, what are you gonna do? You're gonna move on to the next person, right?
Yeah, you got to make a decision for yourself at some point.
Agreed. Okay, so one of the other subtopics, um, orbiters, aka, are you familiar with the term orbiters?
No.
Pretty much, guys in the friend zone that lurk around,
Ah,
right? Like,
yes.
they're around. They're always around, right? So you and your girl are in a relationship, right? And how do you feel about dating women who has a lot of guy friends?
Um, for me, it's one of those things. It's a conversation that needs to be had pretty quick. If they're a close guy friend,
Like, she mentioned
and
this, she was like, "Oh my god, I just tend to have a lot of friends, a lot of guys. Most of my friends are guys, and we all hang out. So I'm like a guy girl. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I do guy girl things. I play video games. I go to the shooting range. So, what would you say?
Yeah. So I think one thing that women need to realize is most of those guys are just waiting for their turn, and they don't
Orbiters.
know it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and I think they're a little naive to that. They think that they're just being friendly, and yeah, there's other motives. There's other motives. I don't personally think that women and men are have that much in common that really we need to be friends with the opposite sex if we're not really interested in pursuing them. I can personally tell you, I've had two women that I've dated that had orbiters and had guy friends, and was told never to worry about them, and it bit me both
It's
times.
always the one
Both
that tell
times.
you don't worry about, right?
Yeah,
Don't.
right. Both times it backfired on me, bro. I'm telling you.
And then, but here's the argument though. Ladies, I'm sorry if this sounds offensive. Here's the argument. Oh, you're jealous. Oh, you're not secure with yourself. You're supposed to trust me. You're supposed to. It's called
No.
not being naive.
Yeah, it's because we're guys too, and we know guys
Exactly.
out there.
We know
Yeah.
what they're thinking. We've been in that position before. And you're telling us, nah, don't worry about them. Come on, man. Come on. Like, what?
Yeah. So one thing I'll add to that is if you're dating a woman and or a person, let's just say this is a guy or girl guy, whatever the circumstances are, if they really do want to maintain that friendship, I think that they need to bring you into that friendship circle pretty quick and let you see how they interact. And whenever they do want to hang out with that person or go get drinks with it, that you are always invited. If they're trying to hang out with this person outside of the relationship and you're never invited for some reason, that's a flag.
Yes, yes. Automatic red flag right there.
Right.
Agreed.
Right.
But even then, though, I don't trust other dudes. I don't. Because fact of the matter
Yeah.
is this. Let's just see me and my girl, we have an argument, right? You know, it hurts a lot more when a girl cheats than when a guy cheats. Because, let me be more specific. Both still hurt, both are still pain. What I mean is that when a guy cheats, it's more physical. When a girl
Yeah.
cheats, it's more likely, I'm not saying it's always the case, it's more likely it's going to be emotional, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
when you lose her emotionally, you lose her completely. Like a guy
Mm-hmm.
can just go have sex and come back, babe, I love you and all that stuff because it's just physical. It's just, dude, I just wanted to jerk off. I just want to get my thing out, right?
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
you. I really love you. You know what I'm saying? So going back to that now, come on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree.
Whew. Okay. Crystal. She says, "Are you seeing this, man? Black Canary is Crystal, by the way." She says, "Wait. So, what are you trying to say? Women can't have guy friends women can't have guy friends. I feel that's a little bullshit." You go first, Matt.
I understand where she's coming from. I do think under a situation where everyone is being respectful to the other person, like I said, if you want to maintain that friendship, bring me into it. Allow me to know this person. Allow me to see you guys interacting in a public space. Let me see that there's no clear flirting. People's tones and kind of little nuances that they do, you pick up on it. You can see it. And especially, if I'm in a room with a guy, we're guys, we know what we do. We know the little subtle signals to look for. It's clear as day to us, and it isn't to women. And that's the part that they're naive to.
I think I need to be a little bit more specific, right? I'm so sorry to cut you off, right? We are not saying women can't have guy friends. We're not saying that. We're talking about orbiters specifically, and we're talking about, when we say orbiters, we're talking about guys that are in the friend zone. Now, understand this. You can have guys that are friends, and you can have guys that are in the friend zone, right? And normally when they're in the friend zone, you're the one that put them there. He didn't initially want to
He's
be
not
in
there
the
because he
friend zone.
wants to be there.
Exactly. No guy wakes up and says, "You know what? I want to be in your friend zone. You look like someone I would be a great friend zone person with." No. It means they shot their shot with you in some way. It didn't work out. Whether you had a boyfriend or something, it didn't work out. And now they're like, "You know what? let's be friends, because that's what
Yeah.
happens, right?
Yeah.
Hence, they're in the friend zone. And the way how they're orbited is because they're always around, right? They're always waiting for their shot. And as the moment
Exactly.
the guy fucks up, he's ready. He's like,
Right there.
you call him, you're like, oh, he
Yeah.
broke my heart. Oh, I'm there, girl.
Yeah.
What? I'm on the way.
Oh, he was a jerk. He didn't deserve you anyway.
Exactly.
You
That's
know?
what we mean. We're not saying that you can't. You can't. Listen. First of all, we're not trying to be controlling. No, I don't think. Is that what we're trying to say, Matt? Like, I don't feel we're trying to
No,
be
not at
controlling.
all. No, no.
No, not at all. Okay, Dragon. Let me go to you, Dragon. To be honest, in high school, I hang out with a lot of girls I was dating, but I never brought them up because I only thought of them as friends. Okay. Okay. You go first on that one.
I mean, again, it depends on the individuals. I mean, if you're dating someone and you have guy friends and you don't ever bring them up, they're probably gonna be known at some point. I mean, somebody's gonna say something. Somehow the person you're dating is gonna find out that you have these male friends. I mean, it's just gonna happen. And then now it looks suspicious. Why didn't I ever know about them?
Yeah, and wait, Dragon. It makes me. It's a little suspicious that you never brought up any of these girls that you're friends with, because, to be honest, if you never brought it up, what do you have to hide? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And then if you never brought them up, Dragon, are you like holding them back because you don't like? If I'm not introducing my girl to my friends to their girl, it's for a reason. It's maybe because in the future, if me and my girl don't work out, I want to still be able to hit that.
Right.
Right? I still like trust me, I like having options, right? Which most guys do, right? Like why have one candy when you can have two? Right? Why have strawberry alone when you can have vanilla, chocolate? Oh, my point is that especially in high school too. In high school relationships are not the same, right? High school
Yeah.
relationships,
Totally different.
yeah, you're into 6 months. 6 months is such a long time. As an adult, it's not. It really isn't. 6 months go by real quick, right? You learn real
Yeah.
shit later on. So, honestly, Dragon, what I'm gonna say about that, it's a little sus that you don't mention the people around your girlfriend. To me
Yeah.
personally, to me.
Agreed.
All right, so I'm gonna go back to Black Canary, aka Crystal. Um, yes, she says girl can have guys as friends. I agree. Dragon, that's true. We all can have friends. Just say that we are allowed to hang out here and there. I don't like that word allowed. I don't like it because it sounds controlling.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying, babe, you're allowed to do this. You're allowed to do that. I don't know. I don't like that word. All right. So Crystal says, but in a relationship is the number one thing. Number one thing, trust. If you can't trust someone, why be with them? But that's what I just said. I said when you guys come to us, Matt, do you mind explaining your situation a little bit more? What happened to you? You said twice, right? They told you not to worry about the person, to
Yeah.
trust. I'm sure she said something about trust. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Basically, it was one of those situations where you see an Instagram post, you see something, and you look at other things in the photos. Okay, well, there's other guys standing around, or they're commenting on a particular person's stuff on a regular basis, and maybe you're sitting together and you see their phone light up, and you see that person's name on their phone. They're sending them a message. The little things like that, little cues start to get your attention. And then when you ask about it, just out of curiosity, what's going on, to find some comfort in it,
what's her
and make sure that
response?
yeah, it's oh, that's just a friend, or oh, it's just a guy I work with. They just they shrug it off, and then if you're feeling uncomfortable with it and you try to say, yeah, it just doesn't feel right, like, why do you really need to be friends with
But
them, or something
do,
like that.
the first time this happens, right? I'm sure you trust her. Like, why be with her if you don't trust her? Correct? Like
Right.
that's what she's saying. Why be with her if you don't trust her? But you did trust her.
I did, yeah.
But
And I gave that person plenty of rope to run with it. I trusted them. I took them for their word. And then but also I'm a very observant person. Okay,
and it's also you
I
not
pay
being
attention.
naive, right?
Yeah.
because there's a
Right.
difference. It's like if you
Yep.
see the signs, right,
Yep.
and then you're
Yep. So
still
so I ended up doing some detective work and just kind of letting things play out and just being observant. And it was all right there. All the signs were right there. 2 plus 2 is 4.
Mhm.
Dig a little bit further and you'll find what you need to find. And boom, I found out. I actually the way she outed herself that I found the put the nail in the coffin was, she had an iPhone watch that she left at my house. Well, it's synced up to her phone, right? So her watch was blowing up. Naturally, I look at it and I see all the text messages, and then I find out where they were actually going to get dinner, and then I showed up. I busted them having dinner at the restaurant. Busted her out. She had, yeah, not good.
holy fuck.
Yeah. So
Did you
it's
bust
stuff
them
like
up
that, man.
at a moment where it's just like, hey, you're not just having dinner because people can always get away with like, oh, I'm just having dinner with a friend. Were they touching? Were they kissing? Were they like? Was there anything physical? Because you're walking in like a detective right now, and you're like,
Yeah.
here's my case. I caught you. At what moment did you bust in?
They weren't doing anything, but her reaction to the whole situation told me everything. She didn't have to say a single word. When she saw me, her face lit up, this surprised look on her face, like she had been busted. She got up from the table and met me halfway, wouldn't even let me approach the table, and said, "Don't make a scene." So,
Don't
clearly you're
make it
doing
see.
something.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
That says everything
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah. If it was just a friendship, she would have been like, "Oh, hey, I didn't like. What are you doing here? This is John. This is my friend." Like, it would have been a very casual, non-threatening environment, and it wasn't.
Okay,
So there it
Crystal,
is.
does that help? Crystal, does that help? Don't worry about him. He's just a friend. Orbiters, come on. We
Yeah.
cannot make this stuff up. Um,
It's dangerous.
Personal question. How do you feel about all that, bro?
About what?
Like walking in and catching her cheating and all that stuff.
I mean, it sucks. It's not fun. I mean, you've got this investment in this person with your time and your feelings and your heart, and then you find out that they're being shady, and it's just like, okay, well, if you weren't happy, just shoot me straight. You don't need to do this shady stuff behind my back. Just walk
Goes
away
all
from the
back to
relationship.
communication again, right? Just freaking
Yeah,
tell me.
we're adults. Just come out and say it. You don't need to be shady. Don't be running around on people. Don't monkey branch. You don't need to hop from one person. It's okay to be alone if you're not happy.
Do you feel like you're the type of person like, hey, I can come to you and I can share that, hey, I'm unhappy. I don't want to continue this. And you're not going to blow up. You're not going to make a scene out of it.
I think I am at this point in my life. Absolutely, I am. Yeah, I think that's a good thing in a relationship to have. It's a hard conversation to have, but if it's a healthy conversation, it's a healthy relationship. It gives the other person a chance to acknowledge that there's something wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and then also try to work on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a healthy relationship. Give each other the opportunity to do that.
Agreed. Agreed. Um, okay, so let me go back to what Crystal says. She says, because to be real with you, a lot of girls get along with guys more than they do with girls. I get that. That's true. That's true. I
Yeah,
do understand that girls can be catty with each other. They can be like,
very. Yeah,
yeah, with each other. And then guys don't do that. Like, if we don't like you, we don't like you. You know?
yeah,
Like, when guys disagree, it's more of a physical, like, dude, I will fight you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But when
yeah,
girls
yeah, yeah.
disagree, it's more like emotional, where it's just like, I'm going to hold this one thing against you because you call me a bitch, you call me this and that. And we're going to
Yeah,
yeah, so it's two different levels of warfare. I get
yeah.
that. I get
I
that,
get it too.
Crystal. So, but again, we're not saying that girls shouldn't have guy friends. We're just
No,
talking about orbiters, and we're talking about guys that are in your friend zone,
right.
to be more specific, right?
Yeah,
Um, okay. So David says he meant anniversary dates, birthday, holidays, and all that stuff. Okay, I get you, as well as what you were asking me to my arguments right now. I understand, David. David, thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate that, brother. Dragon says I didn't have to bring them up because the girl I was dating knew about them. All right, all right. I mean, that's fine. That's yeah, but I know guys though. I remember myself in high school, but that was just me. But you know what, Dragon, you could be right. You could be right. Thank you for sharing that, Dragon. I appreciate it. Okay, so Crystal says, "Okay, hold on now. Let me ask you. I can see her doing her hand gesture. Let me ask you. If she told you she was going out to eat with a guy friend, would you still be okay with that? Because 80% of guys in this world will not be okay with that. All right, you go first, Matt.
Man, that's still kind of tough, but it depends on possibly how long you guys have been dating or been in a relationship. If it's a guy that's been you've known about it for quite some time, maybe you've met him, had interaction with him.
And all three of you were together to see how she is with him or he's with her.
Yeah, and you've had an opportunity to kind of break that ice and show some trust and have a little bit of trust there. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Okay.
But also, it's just you have to put time into that. It's building trust. I mean, right out of the gate, if you're into it a month dating someone and they want to go have different, dinner with a guy friend, I don't know that you're there yet. Maybe wait, push that off a little bit.
Okay. Crystal, I'm going to go with exactly what Matt said earlier. Trust is something that you earn over time, and that's something that's given right away. Right? I'm going to just go in with that. And to play to what you just said, how long have we been dating? Because if we just let's just say we're dating for 1 month, or we just decided to be exclusive, and then now you're telling me, oh, I'm gonna go have dinner with this guy that I never hear you talk about, and I never heard you mention, but I'm gonna go have dinner. Red flag, Yeah. And I'm just like, okay. And let's just say you mentioned this person one time. That could be you being slick, right? Like, hey, this is my guy friend. I don't know him, so that's very situational. I need to know him. Can we all hang out together before you go have a dinner? Because
if there's nothing going on, there shouldn't be any reason why you wouldn't want that.
And what if roles were reversed? Oh, babe, real quick, I'm gonna go have dinner with this girl. We're fine. Don't worry, we're just friends, but it's dinner. Mm-hmm. Even that sounds a little romantic. Just like, I'm gonna have dinner.
It does, yeah.
So, listen. Would you personally? We're not speaking for the whole man. You personally, are you okay with that? Let's just say you've been with her for 6 months, and you've met the dude.
I guess generally speaking, I would probably say no.
Okay. Are you saying that based on past experiences, or are you saying that, but again, because whether we like it or not, our past experiences factor into our decision that we make today, right? Mm-hmm. Like, yes, you want to trust, but you also don't want to be naive, right? So, she says 80% of men will not be okay with that. Are you a part of the 80% of men? And if you are, that's okay, because that's the majority. Mm-hmm. What would your answer be?
I would say I'm probably in that 80%. Yeah, just because, past experience, and also, I'm a guy. I know guys. We will say and do whatever we need to put ourselves in a position where we have a shot with that girl. It's just the way it is.
We're always chasing sex, which is so it's just so. What about if it's a gay guy best friend?
That's okay. That's totally fine. That's not threatening at all. It's just not.
There you go. Hopefully this helps, Crystal. Hopefully this helps. So David is saying, I was saying all of that because of how my own mom exemplified that example in trying to have me live up to her expectations in retrospect of how women treat their partners. Okay, I do get that. Just as how our moms have expectations for us, the women that we date do have expectations for us. And it's also, they have expectations for themselves. It's like, hey, I want a guy who is ambitious. That's an expectation, right? I want a guy who makes a certain amount of money. I want a guy who takes care of himself. Expectation. So I get that. I think we all should have some expectation. Like, You went on that terrible date when she drank herself too much. Now your expectation moving forward, please don't drink yourself. Don't throw her up. Please don't like
Yeah.
manage yourself, right? So yeah, David, you're right. There are you gotta learn how to manage these expectations. He's saying it's bad enough she took away my social life, which is not allowed. Yeah, that is one thing with parenting. It's definitely not okay to take away social life because we're social creatures. We're human beings. We're meant to
Yeah.
talk to people.
Yeah.
Um, and you were resentful. You hate your mom for that. If I could, I'd have her get a tattoo of Osama. Are you reading this?
Yeah.
Oh man. I have no comment. What do you have to say about that?
I don't know, man. It's everyone has their own experience with everything. I mean, you pull out of it what you need to and make your own decisions. But it's everybody's different. Everyone has different relationships. So it's my experiences are my experiences. If someone can pull something from it, great. But it's, at the same time, you gotta travel your own path.
Yeah. Listen, David, I'm gonna say I agree with you. I don't think anyone should take away someone's social life. Um, Knowing that I have a daughter and knowing the world that we live in, am I gonna want to monitor? You're damn right. Like, especially with all the apps, and we all know what Snapchat is for. Come on, man. When people ask you for
Yeah.
your snap, they're trying to get a nude here and there, bro. So I'm not gonna try to listen. I know proper. I can't stop her, and I don't want to stop her social life. But am I gonna keep an eye on it? Hell yeah. What about you,
Yeah.
Matt?
Yeah. I mean, I think the same thing. I think Snapchat is just dangerous. If someone has it, that's not a good thing for me. That's an immediate flag. But you want to trust people, but don't. Like I said earlier, just you can't be naive. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's just in today's dating world, being naive is just gonna bite you every time. I think.
Agreed, 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 100%. So Dragon says I was the emotional pillow from for my all the girls. I was the emotional pillow for my all the girls I knew and for my girlfriend, but never had time for myself. So I decided to stop dating, but I'm still there for everyone. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I think he's trying to say that he never filled his own tank.
Oof. Uh-huh.
He put too much time into making sure that everybody else was taken care of and forgot about himself.
What would you say about that? Like, what advice would you say
Uh,
about that?
Bro, I've done that myself. I know what that feels like. You put so much energy into everybody else and make sure that everyone else is provided for and taken care of, and then at the end of the day, who's doing that for you?
Hmm. You
You
know,
know,
one thing I really like
no
what you
one's doing
said.
that for you.
I'm so sorry.
What?
Remember when you talk about make sure you're not being a taker, like when you were
Yeah,
talking about your daughter. I love that. I love that so much because you're either taking somebody's energy away or you're giving energy to them, right? So the
right,
question is, which one are you? And it's not always bad taking energy, but still, what are you putting back out there? So I like that a lot that you said.
right. Yeah, you can't lose yourself along the way. It just you'll burn your happiness, and eventually you run out of gas yourself, and then you don't have anything to put in anyone else. So it's
Mhm.
got to be reciprocated.
Agreed.
It has to be.
Agreed. Agreed. Yo, Ben Gaming, welcome back, Ben. Ben, you know it, man. You know it. We're here, brother. We're here. Um, Crystal Black Canary says, "Who don't have Snapchat nowadays?" Now, I'm gonna admit, Matt, I do have Snapchat. I'm not gonna lie, but I've had it for I've had it when it first came out, right? Just like any other. Like I had MySpace, I
Yeah,
had I had Sconex, I have Facebook, right? So like whatever social media was like popping off at the moment, I had it, right? And
yeah.
but I think when you say when someone has Snapchat, that's a red flag. Do you mind elaborating on that? I think that's what.
I just just from what I've noticed, it's the way it's set up. It's just it makes it's the easiest app. to be shady with it. Everything gets deleted right away. It's not like I'm saying, you can't do that with Instagram. You can go into your messages and swipe on it, delete it. If you're clever with it enough and you're on top of it and you really have that much stuff to hide, you probably will do that. But I guess I've just always felt like Snapchat just makes it the easiest because it's like deleted right away. And yeah, that's just my opinion.
Okay, hold on. Crystal, here's what I'm saying. When it comes to Snapchat, right? I'm not saying I'm lying. I said I do have Snapchat. I've had Snapchat for years, right? I got it when it first came out. I think what he's saying that with Snapchat, it's the easiest app to be more shady because it doesn't save your messages, and you choose what you want to save, right?
Yeah.
And 100%, especially when it comes to dating apps. When a girl tells me, "Hey, what's your Snapchat?" Now I'm like red flag. I'm like, oh my God. She's like, yo, she doesn't ask me for my number. She doesn't even ask me for my Instagram, which I still don't like that people do that. Like, when did we get from numbers to Instagram, right? But she chose to skip all other apps and go straight to Snapchat. That's why I'm just like, okay, is she trying to send me something dirty? Is this the type of conversation I'm trying to have? Or you know what I'm saying? Red flag.
For those people, if you went in and looked at their Snap score, it'd be super high.
Yeah, I heard that's a red flag too. I heard somebody told me that, like, yo, what's your Snap score, right?
Yeah. Yeah, watch out for that one too.
So based on how active you are on a particular app, that could be a red flag.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dating is tough, bro. Dating is tough. She said, I mean, that's just like a text or Facebook Messenger. You can remove all the messages. Yes, but it's more work to remove all the messages.
Yeah, there's extra steps involved with Instagram or direct texts.
Yes, and I'm not gonna lie, man, we like to take the easiest route at times. Like, especially when it comes to these things. Like, it's exhausting deleting your messages, going back and forth and all that stuff, right? Yeah. And it's it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay. I saw one of your videos, right? On TikTok. And guys, Crystal, chat, Kathy, welcome back, Kathy. Chat, definitely take a second. His Instagram and TikTok are right up here. Go and watch his stuff. Why do I still have Snapchat? I have all the apps. And also, I'm a content creator. I have all the apps so I can post on all these things, right? Like, I don't use it for those things anymore. Like, because I have Snapchat for so long, I have so many people on it that when I first started out streaming like 3-4 years ago, what I used to do is I used to tell kids, I was like, hey, here's my Snapchat. Go say hi. Go send me a video of you want to say something, right? And then I'll play the video while I'm on stream and I'll see them because, again, that's the thing that kids connect to the most. Most kids connect to Snapchat and Instagram right off the bat. They don't even ask for Facebook, right? So that's why I have Snapchat. I have it because it's an easier thing to connect with people. Snapchat is based on generations, though.
Yeah, Snapchat, it makes sense for you just because of what you do, but for the normal person who isn't creating content, I don't know.
All right, you have 2 daughters, right? Does any of them have cell phones?
No.
Okay. I was gonna ask you, like, what are they watching on their phones, or what are they watching on their tablets or something? Are they watching YouTube? Are they like?
So they have tablets. They do have access to YouTube. I do covertly keep an eye on it though.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I know there's stuff out there that they could see that I don't necessarily want a 7 and an 8-year-old seeing. So I give them freedom with it until I see something that I don't like, and then I cut it.
Are any of them already asking you for a phone? Like, Dad, I need my own phone, or anything like that?
Not really yet, but I've heard with my oldest that some of her friends at school have phones, so I anticipate it coming fairly soon.
Yes. Look, yeah. Chat. All I'm saying is this: based on your age, certain apps make sense and certain apps don't. Right now, what's in for the kids, like middle schoolers, teenagers, Snapchat and Instagram, right? But I'm saying that I'm in my 30s, right? If I'm dating someone and I just meet them in a bar or online, and I ask, "Hey, can I get your number?" and she says, "No, but I'll give you my Snapchat."
Yeah.
I'm just saying, to me, that's a red flag. And Matt, to you, what is that?
That's a red flag. Yeah, because what a 35-year-old person is going to use it for is entirely different than what an 8 or a 10-year-old is going to use it for.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. Even Ben says it. Ben says a high snap score is a red flag. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He could always remove Snap from his phone, but I actually use it. Crystal, don't you have me on Snapchat? You see, I'm literally posting content on it. All right, all right. So yes, going back to one of the videos that I saw on your thing. I believe you were talking. Here's the points that I got from it. You were talking about self-worth, and you were talking about nice guy versus bad guys. Like, I think the content was, why is it that you're dating, right? The girls want the bad guys, right? And you have to adjust yourself to a certain way to attract the bad guys. Give me a second. I'll show you which video I'm talking about. I'll show you which video. Hold on.
What's it like dating in your 30s?
Not this one. Hold on. No.
You know, single parents, this one's for us. If you're not a single parent, keep on moving, because you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about anyway. Maybe go buy some white New Balance 806s or a new fanny pack, because for some reason the 1980s are back in style. Wait, does that mean Jinkos are coming
Wait,
back?
no, it's not this one. Not this one.
For real though, when you meet her post-divorce, and she is nothing but true, genuine white material.
I love that
and you
one.
fall
I love that
head over
one.
heels in love with her. Quick reminder for all the ladies out there who aren't considered thick. Not all guys like it thick.
That's true. I love that
Don't worry
one.
about it, Queen.
Chat, you gotta check out his Instagram. He has a lot of good stuff, man. He has a lot of good stuff. Oh man, I should have put it.
Ladies, listen up. This one's for you. I see all these posts talking about fuck boys and how they come in, they wreck your life. Where's all the good men at? Well, guess what? The answer to your problem is in the word itself. Fuck boy. We don't talk about fuck men because there's a difference between a boy and a man. And when you start to see the difference, you're on the right path.
I like that one. Tell me more about that one.
Ladies, listen up.
Tell me more about that one.
Yeah, that just basically that's a cue to maturity. It's the difference between a boy and a man. I mean, you know, you have to go through life and mature. Life can be tough sometimes. You know, it's not always easy, and over time, just that's the natural progress of life. If you're dealing with a boy, he's not in touch with his emotions, and he's only concentrated on sex. He doesn't care about your feelings. You flip the script and with a guy that's a little bit older and more mature. He's gonna he just sees things different, and sometimes that's what it takes. You know, if you're out there hitting the bars, you're probably gonna run into a lot of fuckboys who really don't give a shit about you. But you know, there are men out there that actually do care and will treat you well, and won't take advantage of you. So that's just what it is. And unfortunately, you have to learn the hard way. Some women have to learn the hard way.
So choosing the fuckboy, right? Is that the woman's self-worth, or is it just that's what society has taught you to go for the bad boys and this and that?
Yeah, I think that ties into self-worth for the female, and actually being able to identify, you know, certain characteristics of the guy and determine if he's worth it or not. You know, how mature he is, and where he's at. You know, how he values himself. That falls on a woman.
I think I'm remembering it now, because I think you said that. Man, I think I know I'm not that far from that video, but I think you were talking about, like, okay, with my daughters, like, what am I going to teach my daughter to go for? The nice guy? I think you said I want the nice guys to go to my daughters to go more after the nice guy than the bad boys, because society teaches you. And I even remember why all these.
That's the video when I have the blue shirt on. That's the one you're looking for.
The blue shirt one. Okay. Chat, yeah. I'm so sorry. Let me just look for.
I was on lunch break that day, and I just had a random thought.
It really bothers me that there's a generation of young men out there growing up who think that in order for a woman to like them, he has to treat her like shit and be disrespectful. That's fucked up. If being called a word like simp bothers you, then you don't have any self-confidence or know your self-worth.
That's why I said that. Yeah.
You are not the problem. It's the trash women that you're chasing because they don't know their self-worth. I can personally tell you, as a father of a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old little girl, I want you for my daughter when they start to date. Don't change.
Yeah.
Now,
Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, that's basically just, acknowledging that, that being a good guy is not a bad thing. That caring about someone else's feelings and their health and their emotional well-being, it's not a bad thing. It doesn't make you a pussy. It doesn't. If we're gonna label that as a simp, okay, why is that being such a bad thing?
Why is it being laughed at?
Yeah, and I don't personally understand that. I would rather have that guy for my daughters when they grow up
Yeah.
than the guy that's gonna, just fuck them and leave them or to treat them like they're nothing and not
Great.
value them.
Great.
That doesn't seem right.
Great. Kathy says, what are some green flags? I'm not gonna lie, I've never spoke about green flags before,
Yeah.
but let's normalize it, right? We're talking about red flags so much. Let's talk about green flags. What are some green flags?
I think green flags are a person who can self-reflect. That you can have a conversation with. That's not necessarily an easy conversation, and maybe admit some fault in something and validate maybe how you feel. Also, a green flag for me is someone that really wants to build trust and understands what that looks like. That's just a respect thing. I think I don't know how you can have trust in someone if they don't respect you. A person that maybe can admit that they've gone to therapy for something. I think therapy gets a bad rap, and anytime somebody says that, they think, oh, what's wrong with them? They're messed up. No, that doesn't mean that they're messed up. I mean, a therapist really, at the end of the day, is just somebody to talk to, and you can say things to them that you necessarily can't say to your friends or your family.
All right. That's triggering to me right there. Let me tell you why. You know what I heard growing up? Black people don't go to therapy. We don't. Go deal with your feelings some other way. First of all, as a man, what do you got to talk about? Why are you talking about your feelings so much, right? And then now you're black and you want to go to therapy, dude. Like I'm telling you, I literally fought to not go to therapy, to not want to. Why do I gotta bring somebody else in this shit? Don't you already have your girlfriends in a relationship? Don't you already got your family in a relationship? Now you want me to go talk to some random person? Like, come on. But it works. It works because
it gets a bad rap, man, but it shouldn't.
It's true. I like your green flags, man. I like your green flags. Those are good. Chat. What are some good green flags that you like? Did you see what Ben said? Go look it up, Ben. Said Matt is the best dad.
Bro, Matt is the best dad. I appreciate that. Nice.
Yo, thank you, man. Thank you. That is awesome. But yeah, man. Green flags. Wow. I actually have to think about this one. I really haven't. Okay, I like when you can carry yourself, and what I mean, like, I like how you can dress. If you can dress yourself, like in a very, very presentable way. Like, don't get me wrong, I like slutty sometimes, but not all the time. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, if we're going out and you're on my hand, then yeah, dress slutty, because I'm like, I love to show you off, right? But again, it depends on the situation, and also carrying yourself, just like you know how to behave around other people, like you are a reflection of me. If I take you around my friends and all that stuff, you're a reflection of me. So same thing with my friends, they're a reflection of me too. If they're acting like assholes and I don't like it, because it's just not impressing you. I'm not saying they're there to impress you, but still they're a reflection of me. So
yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, those are some good ones. Well, I don't know, Kathy, but going to a bar and picking up a girl is a red flag from the start. Wait, what? Crystal. What do you mean? What do you mean? Going to a bar and picking up a girl is a red flag from the start.
For a guy to pick up a girl at a bar.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, historically they're not the best places to pick people up.
Is there any good place to pick up?
Uh, Target.
Are you really going to Target though? Come on, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. Look. Yes, as a dad, you're going to find yourself more in Target. I get that. But come on, man. Have you ever put clothes on? Like, yo, I'm going to Target today. I'm going to find myself a girl today in Target. Really, Matt? Really?
Yeah. Yeah, farmer's market. How about that? Is that better? Top golf. Yeah.
You know what? Indiana and New York City are two different places. You go to farmer's market? Really?
I'm just saying, all I'm getting at is the environment. I think, the bar environment, there's alcohol involved. Judgment sucks.
But
those
aren't you, when you go on your first dates,
Snapchat.
didn't you tell me on your first dates drinks is a good idea, usually when there's alcohol?
Yeah, but you can have drinks not in a bar also.
Okay. Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. I don't know. Okay. I mean, listen. I met Kathy, the mother of my child. Right. I met her in a bar at 3 a.m. All right.
Okay.
And I love telling this story, but I'll shorten it this time. It's pretty much this. I was mostly there for my friend. Right. I was already dating other people. Right. And I was just like, dude, let's go out. Let's go talk to some people. So I saw a group of 4 girls. I distracted 3 of them while he was talking to one. Then I left. My friend came back to me, was like, dude, some new girl showed up. Can you please distract her while I talk to this girl? Like, this new girl is coming, talking her ass off, right? So I came over, started talking to her, who turns out to be Kathy. And then we kissed. And then we went home together. Right? Red flag, not for me, but this also became the mother of my child, right? And we were together like 6 years. It's a long time, right? So,
Yeah.
Again, to me, that's not a red flag.
Yeah.
I'm like, where else am I going? Like, I know myself. I went to work, and I would go home. So it would be work, and then go to the bar.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to
I'm
clubs.
not trying to say that everybody at the bar is not worthy of long-term relationship, love, and marriage or kids or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever it happens to go, I think there's good people and there's bad people in general out in the world. So if that's where you happen to find it, hey, that's cool. But I think it's situational. Most people that are there probably have Snapchat, and it's just
we're back to Snapchat. All right. Do you feel like your hunting grounds are different, like as a single dad versus when you were by yourself? Because
I think so, yeah.
like, because now you're talking about Target and farmers market, and like, I don't know if you were talking about that when you were like in your 20s and all that stuff, So
Yeah.
It changes a bit.
Yeah, and I think that's probably just an age thing. I mean, a lot of the women that I might be looking for that are mid-30s or something like that, they're not really at the bar at 3 a.m.
Okay, so which
They're
goes
really
into my next topic, right? What kind of woman do you feel like you attract more now as a single dad, right? Are you attracted? Do you attract single moms? Do you attract
I do.
divorced women, or are you attracting women who are just single, no kids, they just have a job? You know what I'm saying? Like, which category do you find yourself attracting more?
I feel like it's been a pretty good mix of both. I think it naturally lends itself to single mothers, just because I have kids and there's automatically an understanding there. Like, we both have kids, we just get it. Maybe there's visitation schedules, there's exes in the picture that are still around, and there's just an understanding that you don't really have to talk about in those situations. and so those people gravitate towards each other and seek out relationships. But I also find that for some reason mid-20 range women, women like older guys, and I seem to be right at that point. And I come off as I'm better established. I have a good job, good paying, I have a house, I have a nice car, and a
Responsibilities
lot of
again.
that,
Right, we talked about
yeah,
earlier.
a lot of that is very appealing to women in their mid-20s. It's
Okay.
they just like older guys that are more established. It's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It just is. So it's a mix of both, honestly.
Okay. Okay. Um, do you have a preference?
Um, I guess I would probably say I prefer women that have children
Because of the
at this point.
understanding.
Yeah, they understand it. Yeah, and like I said, it's just easier. There's an automatic understanding.
What about
Um,
time though?
and,
Because key thing is this, right? Yes, you guys do both understand that you have kids, but your free time may not line up with her free time, right? Let's
yeah,
just say
right,
you get the weekends, but she only gets the weekdays, right? So like now
right.
when it comes to the two of you wanting to spend time with it, because listen, in order to get the physical touch that we solely love as men, you gotta spend quality time, right?
Hmm.
And if you don't spend quality time, how are you gonna be able to be around each other? So that's what I
Right.
asked. Like, what about the time?
Yeah, so I was getting ready actually to touch on that. I've noticed with the younger women that maybe don't have children, they don't get that. They don't understand that they don't get my time exactly when they want it and how they want it. I have other things to do. I have a back and forth with my ex, and they really struggle with that, and they get almost they're really kind of bent out of shape when they don't get what they want when they want it. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to have that conversation with another single parent.
Yeah.
Even if your days don't line up, it's never an issue because you just get it. There's an understanding there. So that's a pretty big difference between the two scenarios.
Okay. Okay. I appreciate it. What's that? What was the one subtopic that you wanted to talk about before we go into the main topic?
Um, I guess the whole TikTok thing, man. I've gotten a lot of good comments on there. I just kind of started it for fun, just to amuse myself as a single dad. It's I've got this house to myself. Sometimes I don't always have my kids,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it's just me having a beer at the house, and I'm just trying to entertain myself. So, if if I never got one single comment or view on any of that, I still would have done it because it's just fun to me. But if anyone could take anything positive away from it, that's great. I hope something I say helps somebody.
Okay. I really like the video where it's like, because this hasn't happened with my daughter yet, but it's happened with my niece. Like, I'm in the bathroom taking a shit, and she just pops in and just stares at
Yeah.
me. You're like, what's popping?
Why do they do that?
I
Yeah.
don't get it. But you know what's crazy? It's not just kids that do that. Sometimes in a relationship, your girl would do that too. She just
Yeah.
she'll like poke her head in, like, you're taking a while. And I'm like, I'm on my phone watching YouTube, watching TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, I've already finished, but this is just like a nice place to chill. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting a little break. Can I have my break, please? This is my break place.
That was good. That was good. That was good. I like how it's like super relatable, man. That was really, really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
All right. Let me go into the main topic. All right, chat. Once again, if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to throw them out at us. You guys have been doing fantastic so far, so thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay. So as we're talking about dating. I'm gonna bring on more and more people. So, like, ideally, it would be great to have a single dad and a single mom, so we can just get more perspectives and all that stuff. But we'll work with what we have. Single moms dating versus single dads, right? And we're speaking about the first one would be the value, right? I was talking to one of my friends, and she's saying it's hard as a single woman, not as a single mom, to date versus it is for a single dad, because
Yeah.
society says this. Oh, you're a single dad, or you first of all, dad bods. I'm sure we all hear that. That's like in
Yeah.
now, right? Like they don't want the big abs or nothing like that. You can't be too fat either. So in between dad bods, right? Dad bods are in. But I've heard that society glorifies single dads more than they do single moms. Like, is it because you feel like it's a responsibility thing? Like, why do you think that is?
I think that is because for some reason I've noticed that society almost kind of turns dads who are just doing their responsibilities and taking care of their kids and providing and doing the back and forth schedule, co-parenting in general. We get praised for that, and I don't think that we really should.
Well, you're supposed to do it already.
We're supposed to be doing that. Why do we need to be put on a pedestal for that? That's not something. I mean, it's nice to acknowledge it, but that's basic.
Good point.
It's basic stuff, you know.
Good point. But the thing is that, Kathy, if you're still here, let me know. Let me know if you're still here, because I remember I was talking to Kathy. We are just talking about like, just like, if she goes back out there in the market and she's dating as a single mom, it's so hard. Like, first of all, it's already so much responsibility taking care of a newborn, right? It's already so much responsibility just taking care of a baby by yourself, right? Now you're asking somebody else to come into your life. Now you're selling yourself, right? Because that's what dating is. You're putting yourself out there. You're trying to see like who's into you, who's not. You're trying to show them that you have a lot to offer, but also your number one attention is not going to be that person. So how many people out there, and you talked about this with the younger girls, that your first quality time is not going to always go to them. It's going to go to your kids, right?
Yeah.
And then it's going to go to the person that you're dating. So like, I guess my question is, what's the power struggle? What's the gender roles like with single dads versus single moms? I'm gonna get the question more better, but do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I think single mothers typically have full custody or primary custody.
Okay.
Typically, not all situations.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with that is, the con with that is that, they don't have very much free time. And when they do go do something, the kid's always in tow. So it's very much a package deal. And it takes a certain type of guy to understand what that is and step into it. Whereas guys don't necessarily have that pressure because it's the opposite. Well, we don't necessarily always have them all the time.
But do guys care though? Like,
we do.
Like, you're dating a single mom. Do you care so much of just like, oh, you're a single mom, that's fine. We're in the same situation, other than being understanding. But if she's hot, you're still gonna have sex with her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even if you have no kids whatsoever, you just looking at a single mom before, like, did you date any single mom before you had a kid?
Not before I had kids, no.
Did you run into them, or were you more likely to date a single mom, or would you ever date a single mom before you had kids?
I think I would have, yeah, but I just never was in a situation where that was proposed. I never knew any single mothers.
Okay. But I guess what I'm saying is, I see how, like, as a single dad you get hit on more. It's more attractive to you right now. But with single moms, it's not the same. Like,
it's not.
It's like some guys are like, oh, you have a kid? All right. I mean, it's cool, but if you're hot, I still want to have sex with you. But if you're not, if you're like in between, I'm less likely to chase this. Right? But as a single dad, I mean, yes, looks matter, but it's still somewhat more appealing than a single mom, which sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks.
And it's not necessarily fair, but again, I think that ties into, just typically speaking, women just have the kids more. And it's not to say that some dads don't want their kids 50-50. I would love to have my kids 50-50. Mm-hmm. But that's just not the way it shook out. And if I wanted that, I'd have to take it to court and spend $10,000 to try to get that.
That's money right there.
It just depends on the situation. It sucks, but.
Ben says, I swear girls be thinking men aren't capable of that. Like, it has to be the woman taking care of the kids and all that stuff.
It doesn't have to be. That's just the way it typically goes down in court, and depending on state regulations. Unfortunately, some states are very pro father, and they immediately go to 50-50 custody.
So is that based on equality, or is it just based on gender roles?
Quality or gender roles?
Yeah, because
I think there's a lot of dads out there that are 100% capable of being 50-50 or even having primary custody. I could 100% handle it. That's just not my situation. That's not how it ended up being.
uh-huh.
And the opposite is also true. There's a lot of dads out there that don't have any business being a father. They don't want the kids. So it just depends.
Let's think about like modern day dads versus traditional dads. Like traditional dads, your role at the moment was just to provide, right?
Yeah.
Pay the money, the mom will stay home, take care of the kids and all that stuff. Now, when you are a single dad, that kind of like gets thrown out the park. You can't choose to be a traditional dad. Now you have to be you gotta do the mom role in the sense that you gotta bring warmth, right? You gotta bring comfort. You gotta like, hey, help them get dressed, help them get the food and all that stuff, right? So I feel like that has changed a lot, and like especially over time now, because like I've heard a lot of time where they're like, oh, I grew up with my dad, but he was never around. He was always working, right? And even the way how society looks at it is like, because one of my biggest dreams, bro. I literally said, I was like, yo, once I have my baby, I want to be a stay-at-home dad for at least the first 2 years, because I want to be like, babe, tag out. You carried that baby for like 9 months. I got this. Like other than you breastfeeding, I got this. Because I want to be supportive. You know what I'm saying? I got your back. You need rest? Go. You want to go to the gym and work on your body and all that stuff? Bet. Go do your thing. But that's not always praised. You know, they're like, oh, so you're just trying to do nothing for 2 years. I'm like, I'm not doing nothing. I'm not doing that. I'm taking care of my kid. That's a full-time freaking job, especially with newborns.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. A lot of stay-at-home moms, I think, get a bad rap, and they are assumed to be doing nothing. And that judgment comes from people who don't have kids.
Okay.
If you had to stay at home and take care of your kid all the time, every single day, 1, 2, or 3, it's exhausting. It is a full-time job.
Okay. When someone comes to you, like, you know, you're meeting somebody new, and they're like, hey, I'm a full-time mom. What does that say to you? Or I'm a stay-at-home mom.
It says that their time is limited for a new relationship. I think that's one thing that it says. And again, I think you have to understand what you're getting into, and that just comes down to communication. There's a certain type of person that is okay with that. Some men, they want access to their female whenever they want it, whenever they can get it, and that can be an issue, you know, when you're dating a woman that has a kid, or primary custody or full-time custody, whatever it is. So it doesn't have to be a bad thing. You just have to understand what it is before you get into it.
At what point do you introduce the kids to whoever you dated?
You know, at this point, I think 6 months.
At least.
I've done it sooner, and I think before 6 months, it's just a little too early, because you just don't know the person yet. You haven't had those tough conversations. You haven't had arguments. You haven't really figured out if you really click with that person. I think 6 months is a good checkpoint. Before that, it's too soon.
Too soon. Do you worry about just bringing different people, different faces around?
Yeah, because kids are kids. They're gonna ask. Their kids are smarter than you think they are. Sometimes there's more going on up there than you would think. They'll ask questions, and you don't want them to get like a person and get bonded to them, and you know, bring them into that person's into their heart before you really know if they're going to be around consistently, because you don't know their intentions. They might be playing you. They might just be trying to get attention, and then, you know, you introduce your kids, and then 5 months later they end up ghosting you for somebody else. It's just 6 months.
And kids talk too, man. They really do.
Yeah.
What if they're like, what about Laura? Who's this? This is Stephanie? What happened to Laura? You're gonna be like, whoa.
But now you got to talk yourself out of that one.
Okay. Okay. Has anything like that happened so far with your kids? Like
Yeah,
you gotta
it
explain
has.
like, oh, I saw somebody snuck out in the morning. Who was that? Like, you know what I mean? Like anything like that happened?
Yeah, it wasn't any sort of conversation like that, but it was definitely, one of my daughters mentioning a previous girl that I had dated that they knew.
Hmm.
And I was honest about it. It's just they they're 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 older. They're not 2 and 3. They are more aware of what's going on,
Do
and
you feel like she
they
was
have
very
more.
understanding when you explained it to her?
Yeah. And I would be too. I mean, that's just it. Single parents, that's part of the game. There's co-parenting and people coming and going, and that's the part of the understanding that you don't get with a single person
Yeah.
that doesn't have kids.
Because I want to know how to communicate with my daughter, right? I want to know where do I draw the line. Like, also, do I want to be their best friend? Like I want you to be able to come to me with anything. Like my daughter's what 2.5 months, and I said, listen, I got your back. You want to bury your dead body? I got your back. I'm gonna curse you out until it's not right, but I got your back. You know what I mean? Like, cause you're your dad. Like, listen, no matter what, still come to me, right? So
Right.
how do you like build that relationship?
I think when they're younger, I think you're not really there to be their friend. You are there to guide them and be their parent and raise them into a respectful human being. That is your responsibility. You worry about being their friend later. When they become into young adults, 18, 19, 20,
So
21.
even right now, you're not even their friend. You're like, dude, I'm still your dad.
Yeah, I'm still their dad. When they act up, I get into them. I mean, that's what I'm there. They can't do that stuff. I mean, you can't bring that in to the workplace. You go get a job. You can't talk back to your boss and be disrespectful. I mean,
Yeah, like I'm not your
it's
friend in the
little
workplace. I'm
things
your
like that. But
boss.
also when they're crying about something, they're emotional. I do have to kind of flip a switch and get on their level and talk to them and understand what's going on and give them that safe space.
Hmm.
To know that whatever you have going on, yeah, you can talk to me. I'm not always here to just be an authoritative figure,
Okay.
but yeah,
Do you find it harder
yeah,
to say no to them?
yeah, yeah, I do. Yeah,
Have
yeah.
they ever done the fake cry? Or
Um,
like as soon
they
as
don't
you
do
get
the
them
fake
back?
crying, but they will pout. They do pout about something, but I know when it's real and when it's not. I know them pretty well at this point.
Nice. Nah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Is there anything else you? I feel like hold on. I said the three tips, and then the three things you wanted to me to ask you about. I didn't. I forgot. I didn't get those questions. What was the?
The 3 tips.
No, no. We're talking about the three tips. What was the three things
Yeah.
that you wanted me to ask you about?
Oh man,
Or you
like I
can just
said,
share
just
it.
like yeah, the TikTok stuff. If you got any questions on that, like I said, I really just kind of started doing that out of fun,
Okay, I
with
actually
really
do.
no.
Like, what do you feel like connects the most with people with your TikToks? Is it like the dating?
I've
Because you have a
noticed.
few dating tips. One, you have dad ones as well too. Like, what do you feel
Yeah,
connect with your audience more?
I feel like those are the ones that get the most responses, just because they're relatable and it helps you understand that you're not alone in whatever you're going through. Sometimes, like
Mm,
it's whatever you're experiencing is probably pretty typical for a lot of people, and and I know for men especially, we don't necessarily always talk about it. We don't really have like open forums. Women are great about talking amongst themselves and venting and getting things out and being supportive to each other, but men don't necessarily have that, or maybe we do, we just don't know about it.
okay.
So yeah, it's just we're all in this together, and we all go through the same stuff sometimes. And you might feel like you're alone sometimes, but you're not.
Okay. And that's a great thing about TikTok. You're just like, whoa, you're not alone.
Yeah, yeah, and if like I said, if something I say helps somebody, cool. That's awesome.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Is there anything, any topics you want to talk about specifically? Anything else you want to share?
Um, Man, no, I mean this has been a really good conversation about dating and my perspective and my experiences, and if somebody can relate to it, that's great. And if you ever want to have me back on for any other
I
sort
would
of side
love to. I
topic,
told you, man.
dating thing, man,
I'm
I'm
building
up for it.
the cast, man. I'm looking for
Yeah,
people, brother. I'm looking for people. I am. I really am. Final thoughts. What? Anything you want to share with me? Anything about the show? Anything about what we talked about? Any final thoughts?
Man, it's great to have a forum, to have these conversations, but it can be focused type of thing, on just for dating a specific topic. It can be just like a safe space for like guys to even say whatever they need to say, or even vice versa for women, just to kind of get certain topics out there and just kind of discuss them and know that there's people out there that have the same experiences, and you can talk about it and vent it and get advice on it if that's what you're looking to get out of it, whatever it is. I mean, it's good. It's a good thing that you're doing.
Yeah, thanks, man. As I said, the goal is to educate, to teach. Like, how did you learn to flirt? Did you learn from like TV? Did you have like someone to talk to, like any of your boys, or you just trial and error?
For me, I think it was trial and error. I was a pretty shy kid growing up, and that doesn't really work in the real world. You have to be able to get out there and have a conversations and be able to walk into a room of people you don't know and strike up conversations and be friendly. And that'll benefit you in your personal life as well as your professional life. You just have to be able to do it. You got to come out of that shell.
Okay. Ben, I'm very, very happy that you like these, man. I really do. Even though we started out with gaming and all that stuff, and you too, you know about it. But the fact that we're doing like these personal one-on-ones, I love it too, Ben. I really, really do.
Yeah.
I really do. Matt, thank you so much for coming out, man. I appreciate it. Do I have your full permission to like post like clips and videos and all that stuff to like YouTube, TikTok, and all that stuff? And also, if you ever want the full thing to edit and all that stuff, I got you. Is that cool?
Yeah. You can do whatever you want with it, brother. And I'd love to come back sometime, and I appreciate you bringing me on.
I am. I would love to bring it back. And when I do bring it back, we're going to have more people. We're going to have like maybe like a girl, and then we're going to have maybe 3 or 4 of us, because I don't want it to be too much, because then it's going to be hard for all of us to like communicate. I don't want us to speak over each other. So I'm going to start out with 3 and then push it to 4 and then see how it goes. But even these one-on-ones, they're great because we get to actually talk,
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's
good stuff, man.
Yeah, thank you so much, Matt. I appreciate it. Chat, if you have any questions, ask now, speak now, or forever hold your peace. And also, don't forget, please go drop him a follow on his Instagram. Ben, right now, his TikTok is up there. It's Matt King, all right? And I think your TikTok is Matt King. I think your TikTok is Instagram, Matt J. King. And then your TikTok is Matt King. Correct?
Correct.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, Ben, definitely go by, drop a follow, say hi. This is Ben from the stream. Crystal, Black Canary, definitely do the same thing. Kathy, David, thank you so much for all the questions, man. You guys are awesome. Matt, have a good night, okay?
You too, buddy. Take care,
brother. Peace, man. Hold on. Let me switch over. And boom. Chat, that was freaking awesome, man. That was really, really good. I love these conversations. I really do. I love the fact that we get all these perspectives and these truths. And I love the fact that all of you guys came out. Ben, thanks so much again, man. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow. We're going to bring in a few more people. And we're also going to increase the amount of guests that comes on. Right? So that way we'll have bigger conversations. We're going to have bigger topics. We're going to talk about promiscuity. We're going to talk about different styles of dating. We're going to talk about, we want to see what it's like when a girl approaches a guy. Like, what do you say? What do you do? How do you approach them? We're going to get in different perspectives. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate it. Don't forget to drop a like, okay? Also, if you have not yet subscribed, subscribe. Click the notification bell, okay? I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much, okay? Everyone, have a fantastic night. If you smell what The Rock is cooking.